Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. We saw the markets overnight turn red. Energy, information technology and communication services, as well as consumer discretionary, were hit the worst. We had a little bit of a shift in sentiment. There's still over a 98% probability that the Fed in the next FOMC meeting on the 1st of February will raise the federal funds rate 25 basis points, but we've also got a 1.9% probability that it will be 50 basis points. We didn't see this yesterday, we saw the absolute opposite. This week will be very volatile, as I said in yesterday's video. There's an absolute raft of key economic data coming out, as well as major earnings coming out from the heavy hitters in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. With that in mind, let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently down 3.95% to 22,783. Ethereum is down 4.71% to 1560. A lot of people will be scratching their heads. What happened to the crypto market? If you read social media yesterday, everything was going to the moon. But one of the keys to understand is the intercorrelation between the crypto market and the stock market, as well as the bond market. What did we see inside the stock market? The Nasdaq came down, S&P 500 and the Dow came down. What does it look like in terms of a pattern comparing the stock market to Bitcoin? Please let me know in the comments. And if you're new, a very warm welcome, and of course, welcome back, KS family. Rule 225 from the Masterclass. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. It's real. This gravity is real. It needs to be looked at. The Federal Reserve has been hiking rates faster than any time in history. That's placed a lot of stress on the economic system. We've seen a really interesting behavior inside markets in the lead-ups to the past FOMC meetings. They rallied. Why is the Federal Reserve actually raising the federal funds rate? Because it wants to put pressure on consumers to slow down their expenditures, to make credit more expensive. Why is that? Because it wants to fight inflation. And we can see that inflation on an annualized rate over 3 months, an annualized rate over 6 months, a change from the year earlier, well, it's all coming down. This is very, very positive. In the news headlines today, there's a lot of news stories coming out that there's a slowdown in consumer spending. What's really interesting about this particular chart on retail sales, generally in November and December, they're high purchase months. Of course, in the lead up to Christmas, all that gift giving. We didn't see that last Christmas. We actually saw falls. Why is this the case? Because you can see the personal savings rate has fallen significantly. It's starting to increase, but people are really concerned about a recession. So they're doing their best to actually create a buffer. When companies report their earnings, what also happens is they do analysis, forward-looking projections, and they state how their key levels of inventory are changing. When we look at this financial group, we can see auto loans, 30-day plus delinquent and 60 days plus delinquent. They've both been increasing. And when we look at Discover, Capital One and American Express or Amex, their credit card loans, 30 plus days delinquent, we can see that their rates are all going up. What I'm seeking to give you is a bit of a perception as to what the news, the mainstream media, is pushing around in terms of a narrative. You don't have to buy into this narrative. You actually need to just look more deeply. Yesterday, I shared this particular chart. We can see the core goods, personal consumption expenditures. It's literally inflation on core goods. That's coming down. That actually creates more money for expenditure. When inflation falls, you can buy more things for the same amount of money. And when inflation increases, you can buy less things for the same amount of money. One key measure to look at is the nominal and real GDP. Both are increasing, and we covered this statistic yesterday. Recessions are typically witnessed with a fall in nominal GDP and real GDP. Real GDP is GDP after inflation. It's also really good to keep in mind the Q1 2023 earnings by sector. Just keep on referring back to this and keep on seeing how these earnings reflect these estimates. Energy is expected to go up, industrials as well, but materials is expected to get hit very, very hard. Please note that consumer discretionary is expected to absolutely rally and keeping on rallying into Q2 2023. Consumer discretionary is when people actually spend money. Just think about that. When we talk about the statistics in today's newspapers, what do we actually see? We see when the markets are red, the headlines are red as well. They have to look for something, anything, to just say to people, we know why the market came down. That's why it's really important to keep your eye on the overall trends. If consumer discretionary is expected, well, firms reporting in the consumer discretionary space sector expect their earnings to keep on marching forward. This is a recovery. If financials do the same, that's a recovery as well. It is not pointing to a recession. And when energy comes down, that's also very good for the economic system. The question is, what did happen to the markets? Gravity happened, as well as a lot of volatility. You can see just how much Bitcoin is actually correlated as the Nasdaq came down. What did Bitcoin do? It came down. As the S&P 500 came down, what did Bitcoin do? It came down. This is all gravity. As the Dow came down, what did Bitcoin do? It came down. All of these markets are actually intercorrelated, and that's why you need as much knowledge as you possibly can get, because the markets are all about understanding. You can make money in any type of market, but only if you understand what you're doing and how all the markets are intercorrelated. In yesterday's video, I talked about the gravitational impact of Bitcoin on our beloved alts, and it's there, and it's very, very real. Crypto Monkey said, gaining mastery over what can happen to our beloved alts. This is something that I've only recently really started to get a better understanding of, even though I've listened to Ken for at least a year talk about this. This is such a powerful gem. I will definitely use this as part of my arsenal of strategies moving forward. Well done, my friend. Everything is a learning curve, and especially in this space, financial markets are inherently complex. And I've been in them for more than 30 years. And I've put that knowledge into the CTKS Masterclass. And I would like to thank Jason Rice again for his very kind generosity. He's offering a partial Masterclass scholarship to one very, very lucky person. The CryptoTradingKS Masterclass is a premium Rolls-Royce level masterclass on crypto technical analysis using the CTKS method. That's a method of technical analysis that I invented specifically for crypto that accounts for exponential implosions and explosions in price and updates normal stock market and forex technical analysis. The masterclass is a very, very extensive knowledge transfer session, and it's all about creating the foundations which you will need, then understanding the trends, then understanding how you time into the market. And there's a lot of things that you need to know. Before you buy and sell, real wealth and positive excellence is a very, very important mindset to achieve, and then you can pull the trigger. And what we see is there's a lot of ways to pull the trigger, and also there's a living masterclass section where I go through latest events, and I've also put level 1 and level 2 CTKS Method Standards Certification in here as well. Beardy says, the masterclass, and this is from yesterday's video, the masterclass is a lifetime of knowledge, hard work and dedication, condensed into one unbelievable learning. If anyone hasn't gone through it, put in the work every day. Let Ken know you're interested and go for it. 5 out of 5 stars. Would definitely recommend. Thank you, Beardy. In the masterclass, we do very, very deep dives on literally every facet of the diamond, which is price action. You can see just how the correlation between the main markets and Bitcoin played out. You'll notice that Bitcoin hovered around this area. It got caught because that's a smart money buy area. But when it lost it, it fell through. The next smart money buy area is approximately 22,300 and Bitcoin is currently 22,695. It could dip down to around the 21,900 mark, so just be aware of this. As a community, we focus on our daily three-dimensional risk management. What actually happens, most people have one direction for the market to go. It's never like that. What you actually do is to consider that the market can go in any one of three dimensions. It can go up, it can go flat or neutral, or it can go down. And what we do as professionals is consider the against us, the down first. You can see how volatile the markets can get. That's why we need to do this each and every day. Always remember, you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. And your returns will be based on your active learning, your knowledge plus your courage. And the market will penalize blame and gambling. One of the most important things that you can do is to get your synchronization factor up. And that can be really tough because the market is always seeking to desynchronize everyone. The market transfers money. Well, it's a transfer mechanism from the desynchronized to the synchronized. So that's why it's really important to do everything that you can to put the jigsaw puzzle of price together. And the one thing you need for that is knowledge. We've been keeping our eye on the SPY. Oh, that rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. The SPY is currently trading at 401.15, slightly up on its close of $463. $400.63, not $463. But the concept is we actually slice through two smart money buy levels. Price was above, it should have been supported, but there were a lot of sellers in the market, and that's what drove the price down. And in so doing, when the SPY came down, what happened to Bitcoin? Of course, it came down. What happened to your beloved alts? There's a 99% probability that they came down right along with it. When we look at smart money buy levels and smart money sell levels, the thing to understand, they become gravitationally attracted in terms of price. We saw previously the price was making its way up to this smart money sell level at that stage because price was below it. And this particular confluence of sell levels was very strong in the market. It ended up pushing the market down, but the gravity rebounded it to these smart money levels. And you'll see this all the time. When we actually lose a level like this, it's very, very likely to come back and retrace at some stage. This is something good to keep in your mind. Yesterday, I drew a couple of lines in because bonds and yields were not behaving as the market would have expected. And I talked about the concept of mean reversion. Basically, the idea that price could come back and touch this 3.634 level in terms of yields. This is really important because the whole market was anticipating a major rally. That's why I put a question mark on more strength to go inside the markets, because we were seeing weakness. And when you see weakness, you need to keep this in mind as well. Weakness in terms of the dollar rallying up. What did that do to gold? It pushed it down. We always see this particular relationship play out, but when I mean always, I mean 99% of the time, not 100. This is why it's so important to actually understand what is going on inside the market. And Masterclass student, you get my live chart in TM6. We've also seen the VIX start to jump up. It's still in its downward path. It hasn't broken its trend, but this could herald the beginning of a particular upsurge in the VIX. If the VIX upsurges, if yields upsurge, if the DXY upsurges, bond prices come down, we would expect the major indices to retrace. This is something that you want to bear in mind. And when we look at JNK, the junk bonds, we can see that they're becoming weaker. It's not necessarily over. They could rebound from here, but that can be a really good leading indicator as well as to where the markets could go. But you must cross-correlate it with all the other pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. We can see gold trading at 19.38 and 30 cents is just below that smart money buy/sell level at 19.40 and 10 cents. It's not over for gold. Gold could keep on rallying. I've been talking for some time, basically since around the 26th, that the potential for the DXY to form a base through here and to actually retrace and go up is actually very, very strong. A lot of people thought that the DXY would just collapse. And why did they think that? It's because of recent price action and story-based analysis. A lot of people were looking at the DXY and basically saying it's all over. It's absolutely just lost its support. It's not going anywhere. But the problem is there's a lot of smart money support existing inside market structure around where the levels are now in the DXY. That's why we need to look at the Stanfield levels, because they give us a comprehension in where price might go, especially these strong SLs. These strong SLs help us to understand where internal market structure will be bought or supported and where it will sell down from. When you get a confluence of buy and sells together, the market usually trades sideways until it can decide if it's strong enough to break out or it's weak enough and continues to break down. Please let me know in the comments, what do you see in the terms of the DXY? Do you see strength or do you see weakness? Do you think we're going to get a continued breakout or a breakdown? I'd be really fascinated to know what you think. And if you want to learn how to draw these SLs, you can learn it through Level 1 and Level 2 CTKS certification. Let's return to the crypto market, and we can see Bitcoin is down 4.36% in the past 24 hours. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, top 100, are LDO, Gala, Flow, NIA, FXS, FractShare, Axie Infinity, Luna, and Solana. What about the top gainers in the top 100? DYDX taking out pole position, Mina sneaking in there because it doesn't belong. CoinMarketCap, what are you doing? Followed by Gate Token, Dash, and we're starting to see stable coins. Please let me know what this means. The reason that I ask these questions, I know what it means and I'll tell you tomorrow, but the concept is, do you know what it means? If you actually take a little bit of time to ponder it, it actually starts to make all the cogs turn in the right direction. And then next time you'll say, oh, that's happening again. I see it. That's what I want you to do. I really want you to understand what is going on. And everything I do is about knowledge transfer. There's been no change in the top 8, but what we do see, when the main market indices came down, it brought Bitcoin down with it quite considerably, and it brought the alts down as well. We can see over the past 7 days, Bitcoin is actually down a little over 0.5%. Ethereum is down over 5%, and you can see this blue line, that's Bitcoin's gravitational pull. If you weren't paying attention to Bitcoin, the loss in Ethereum relative to Bitcoin is quite substantial. And this is something you always want to keep in mind. When Bitcoin sells off, it can make the alt sell off traumatically. So it's one thing to be aware of. And 2023 is likely to be the year of the trader, not the year of the investor. And therefore, getting your timing right and getting your synchronization in with the market is really, really important. And when we look at Tether, Circle, and BUSD, they're just stable coins. But we can see they're not stable. They're going all over the place, and they always have. What about BNB? It's currently down 4%. You remember yesterday it was doing quite well, but now it's down 4%. This is the crypto market. It's all markets actually. And XRP has actually sold off quite traumatically. It's now down 8.15% over the past 7 days. And what about ADA? ADA was doing incredibly well. Now it's down 1.7% on the week. This was the next top 8. Doge, Matic, Solana, DOT, Litecoin, SHIB, AVAX and Tron as of yesterday. Let's see what positions have changed, if any. We can see that AVAX swapped spots with SHIB and DAI returned to the top 16, knocking out Tron. I said yesterday Tron went on a date with DAI and kicked DAI out of the top 16. Now DAI got a revenge and she's back. One thing to pay particular attention to is this blue line relative to your beloved alts. You can see as Bitcoin was surging, what was happening to Doge? It was doing pretty well. And when it sold off, what happened? You always want to be aware of the upside and the downside. It does take a bit of time to get used to this gravitational understanding. This is a very, very important trading technique to understand. Gravitational bias. Traders are always looking for timing entries. They want to understand where the market could be turning around. That's why they put the jigsaw puzzle of price together each and every day. And you can see DOT, when Bitcoin sold down, DOT really came with it. It came on the roller coaster ride, but overextended in terms of the percent movement down. It's down 7.46% over about the past week. And we can see Litecoin. Litecoin flooded up very nicely. It almost preempted. And this is another thing you want to understand with gravity. Gravity has so many facets. I'm not surprised the Crypto Monkey said it's taken me a year to actually understand this, because it does take a long time for the penny to drop if you're doing it properly. I've always mentioned investing and trading is just the same thing. You buy, you sell. You seek to make a profit and avoid losses. The thing with trading, the trading mindset gets you very, very sharp on where market turns could be occurring. Litecoin has been a good predictor of Bitcoin's strength. It kind of front runs Bitcoin many, many times. Tron has some very interesting behaviors when Bitcoin comes down. You want to get to know the personality of all the alts, not just the ones you love and cherish. As a community, as a global family, we focus on positive excellence. That's because we want to be successful, we want to be happy, we want to have meaning, and we want fulfillment in our lives. We really, literally want it all. Wanting it all is okay. The key is wanting it in the right way. When you have the habits of positive excellence, when you look at it each day through grateful eyes, when you treat others with kindness, when you have inner peace and outer peace, when you're courageous, you have honor, when you seek to learn and not blame, when you have humility, when you have strength and boundaries, success will just naturally follow because you're doing all the right things to earn it and to keep it long term. Unfortunately, the crypto industry has seen their share of leaders who don't go from positive excellence, they go from negative excellence, and they've cost people collectively billions of dollars. Yes, it does matter. If you go through negative excellence or you go through positive excellence, it makes a difference not only to yourself but those around you. In episode 791, I did a deep dive on positive excellence and negative excellence. I don't often talk about the negative excellence part of it because it's pretty ugly, but the concept is, and also you want to focus on what you want, which is the positive side, but I thought I would throw more light on the negative side because it's really helpful. Fabs said something really cool. Thanks, Ken. Fear is the most difficult part to overcome, but once it's done, you feel like a new machine. Well done, Fabs. And Fabs, please reach out to me and directly message me on Twitter. And thank you to Harry. Harry said, "This is good for life. Why schools are never open-minded enough to teach these crucial ethical life morals. A very, very good point, Harry. I think if the world actually knew much more about positive excellence, and especially our children, the world would become a different place. Learning positive excellence doesn't make people weak, it makes them incredibly strong. And I'd like to thank everybody again who watched and who commented. Just so wonderful. It's just an honor and a privilege to share this time together. As people, we all have negative habits and we have positive habits. Nobody is perfect in either direction. The trouble is, or the challenge is, we are all unaware of our negative habits. Negative habits put us on the path to negative excellence. I have a little challenge for you just for the next 24 hours. For the next 24 hours, just think about what your habits actually are. When you act, are you acting in a positive or negative manner? And only you can tell the answer to that question. And don't forget, these are habits. Habits become automatic behaviors. We just don't even think about them. So if we can sort of just wake ourselves up and say, is this positive or is this negative? For example, is this 91-year-old lady a fitness instructor from Japan? Is that a positive habit or a negative habit? She's going to the gym and working out. Whoa. And it's a habit. She does it every day. And always remember, every positive habit makes you. It makes you in so many ways. The money will come. Don't worry about the money. Just become a person of value. Our brain is hardwired for fear, and fear can be very, very overwhelming. That's why we have the CTKS Creed. These are daily positive affirmations, statements with an I that we say for our own life, and they're for abundance, financial success, and happiness. These statements go to the root of negative excellence and rip out that negative excellence and replace it with positive excellence. Let's go through the creed. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. I never let a problem beat me because I solve it with positive excellence. These daily affirmations can literally transform your life for the better. Always remember that a better mind creates better outcomes, and all results come from the mind. If you're not getting the results that you want, just look inside your mind and look towards uncovering those negative habits. The only thing that stands between you and your ultimate success is just a negative habit. And of course, replacing it with a positive one. I believe it's really time to grow our community. If you can reach out to someone new and just say, please just have a look at these videos, I think it will make the world of difference in other people's lives. And let's focus on really growing the amount of people in our community, because each and every day we show up here to make the world a better place, starting with ourselves. If we can just keep that domino effect going, it's going to change the world one person at a time. Have a great day or night ahead, my friend, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All the best and bye for now.